What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Big Vince King, back with another update on the 100K account challenge. All right, today is day 9, so let's get into it. All right, so we started this 100K account challenge with the intent on growing a small $200 account into $100,000 in 100 trading days or less. Well, today we finally took our first daily loss, and not only was it daily loss, but it was a massive loss. So let's talk about it a little bit. We started today off with $741 and finished 0 for 1 on trades today. And like I said, not only did we take a loss, but it was a massive loss. So we ended up losing $233 on that one trade, bringing the account balance down to $508, or a 31.4% net loss on the account. All right, so let's talk about the trade. Once again, we only took one trade today and lost big on it. I bought 4 contracts of a SPY, 591, zero DTE call for $1 per contract each at 1:29 p.m. market time. I stayed in this trade for almost an hour and a half until when it suddenly, out of nowhere, it just took a sharp dive over a period of like 2 to 3 minutes. My risk management should have already kicked in well before, I took such a massive loss. But there was no reason for this turn to trade negative, turn negative. There was not any bad reports or anything. As a matter of fact, the Fed meeting minutes had just came out shortly before we took this big dive, and the meeting went well. So we got a small bump, small positive bump after that. So I ended up holding a little bit longer, a little too long actually, thinking the trade was going to turn around and rebound, which it actually eventually did, but not before I cut my loss at a 57% loss on the trade. 57%. Like I said, my risk management should have kicked in well before I took a big loss, but that's in hindsight now. The price of this contract did eventually rebound about 15 or 16 minutes after I sold and took my loss, but it although it broke the price that I paid for it, it wasn't really much of a rebound. It only went up to $104 per contract, and I paid $1 for it. So that wouldn't have been a big gain anyway. So all in all, altogether, this trade was a very poor setup. I got into the trade thinking that we were going to stay with a constant uptrend that we had been in since around noon market time. That continued all the way up until around 1:20 market time. Like I said, I got in at 1:29. I got in after a slight pullback and thinking that the uptrend was going to continue for at least another 20 or 30 minutes where I would have took profit. But that wasn't the case. With this 31.4% loss that we took, we effectively wiped out 3 days worth of previous gains, bringing us back close to our 5-day ending balance, which was around 497. We are currently sitting at 508 after starting the day off with $741 and losing $233. Even after such a big loss, we are ahead of our 9-day pace, which is only $353. We are currently just below the day 15 pace of $514. So theoretically, we are still 6 days ahead of pace. We also snapped our 8-day and 9 trade winning streaks that we had going. Today was our first red day of the entire challenge, and the trade was only our second loss of 14 trades that we have taken so far. This loss was also 2 times bigger than our biggest win of the challenge, which was $110 in one trade that we actually just accomplished yesterday. Towards the end of today's trading period, I was going to look to enter into another trade near the closing bell, which I typically do from time to time in my primary account, but I couldn't find a setup that was worth getting into, and everything that I was looking at, nothing actually moved in any way that I wanted it to move. So I avoided another potential loss that way. I didn't see any good setups that I wanted to get into right before the closing bell. So guys, with that being said, that will conclude today's day 9 update of our 100K account challenge. Thank you guys for tuning in. Appreciate all the support. please like, comment, and subscribe if you haven't already. Also, share this out to anybody that you might think would be interested in this type of content. Once again, guys, thanks for watching. Y'all have a good day. Be blessed. Peace.